US position is that we acknowledge the Chinese position that there's one China, but we do not endorse it. And very dangerously, in this last month, in May of 2022, that part of the verbiage has even been dropped. That had been there since 1971 when Kissinger wrote the Shanghai Communique, that we acknowledge the Chinese position, although we do not endorse it necessarily, which has been the US position since 1951. And here we are 50 years later, the US surreptitiously and quietly dropping that part to suggest that this might not necessarily be an intra-Chinese civil war, but a larger issue of peace, international peace and security, and that qualitatively changes the dynamics of the issue, frankly.
Victor, I want to go back to you, A, get some reaction to that, and B, talking about the instability and also the way the United States may or may not be looking at Taiwan. I'm curious to get your take on it. But I also want to mention something that Nathan said as well, because it's very important, this meeting that took place between Yang Jiechi and Jake Sullivan, of course, the two leading diplomatic officials, one a national security advisor for the U.S. and one a senior diplomat. And they did meet and did talk about Taiwan. And of course, President Xi and President Biden had that virtual conference at the same time and seemed to signal that they were on the same page about Taiwan. What are your reactions to the way Sourabh is placing this?
Thank you very much. I think the more dialogues, especially behind the scene at the very top level between China and the United States, the better it will be for China and the United States. Now, as far as Taiwan is concerned, the United States is not God. The United States is not in a position to change the fact that there is only one China and Taiwan is part of China. No country in the world can change that fact. Now, what General Wei said in Shangri-La spells out the future roadmap very clearly. If the United States wants to push the tensions across the Taiwan Strait one more step further beyond the point of no return, then the People's Liberation Army will have no other choice but to take military action against that, to prevent the independence of Taiwan and to defeat all those forces, both in Taiwan as well as in foreign countries, which want to promote the Taiwanese independence. Now, I don't think anyone can be clearer and more well-defined as General Wei when he said that in Shangri-La. If any decision maker in Washington still pretend that they do not know what's the Chinese roadmap as far as Taiwan independence is concerned, wake up and listen up. It's exactly the same as what China said to the United States before they pushed beyond parallel 38 in Korea in 1950. If you keep pushing, then China will strike back. And don't wait until that happens and say, well, I didn't anticipate that. I didn't anticipate that China will take actions. General Wei is not making that remark on behalf of himself. He said that in his capacity as the state counselor and the defense minister of China. He said that on behalf of the Chinese People's Liberation Army and the Chinese government. And wake up, the 1.4 billion people in China, including both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Wake up. This is really a very serious message. Don't push beyond the point of no return.